We supply who buy. Walk in your drop and take over your drop. Walk in your drop and take over your drop.
What's going on, y'all? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the podcast. I'm Nick, and this is Ballin in the Blitz. Man, wasn't that a game to kick off the season with? West Virginia versus Pittsburgh, man, it can't get no better than that. And it just watching it, just like that excitement, like football is back, baby. Let's go. College football's here. NFL's in a couple days. I mean, let's go, baby. Like, backyard brawl. We waited 11 years for this, and we finally got it, and it was well worth the wait. Well, I wouldn't say it was well worth the wait, but the game was awesome, man. It had me at the edge of the seat the whole entire game. I mean, we had all kinds of stuff going on. Like, that pick six was crazy, bro. Like, I really thought West Virginia was going to win. Pittsburgh ended up pulling through. But, yeah, let's talk about it, man. JT Daniels versus Slovis. Like, who won the quarterback battle? Honestly, they both played pretty good, right? They both struggled at times. I wouldn't say a lot of it was their fault. There was times when, you know, they had receivers dropping wide open passes. There was times when they were struggling because the O-line wasn't protecting them. But altogether, I think Slovis probably won that battle. He had 308 yards, 16 for 24, 8 incompletions, man. That's not too bad. He had a touchdown and 0 interceptions. And that's a big thing, man, because the O-line, God, the dude got sacked 5 times. I mean, they out there looking like the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. Like, come on, y'all got to do better protecting y'all's quarterback. But no interceptions. That's surprising. JT Daniels, on the other hand, 214 yards, 23 for 40. That's 17 incompletions. Like, bro, what you doing, man? I thought you from Georgia. You got to show them that you know, you out there. You a baller. 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. That interception was not his fault. It hit the receiver, you know, went up in the air, straight to the DB. Yeah, that's not his fault. More or less, it was the receiver's fault, you know. But both quarterbacks, man, airing that shit out. Like, no go routes, not a lot of slants, nothing like that. It's just they were both airing the ball out. Like, they came for a backyard brawl for real. Dudes were playing good, but Pittsburgh ended up getting the dub. Close game though, 38-31. Pittsburgh's crowd showed up, man. That's a big one right there. Because all week on ESPN, on other people's podcasts, I hear, oh, West Virginia this. West Virginia's crowd is going to be filling out the whole stadium. You're going to see nothing but West Virginia fans. Like, nah, I don't think so, man. Pittsburgh fans showed up, bro. The whole stadium was full of blue and yellow. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need in the stadium. That's how we get dubs around here. But altogether, what showed out the most was their running back. Robert Hammond Jr., 16 carries for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, 74 yards doesn't sound like, oh, you know, like a big deal. But to get those 74 yards, he had to put in work. And when I say he put in work, he showed grit and aggression. I mean, he's pushing through guys. Those 2 touchdowns were not easy for him. The guy is having to run through people every single play to gain yard by yard. And, you know, kudos to him, bro. He really showed up, and that was a big difference in the game just by him getting out there and showing them what it's about. But especially with a struggling offensive line, I mean, they weren't protecting the quarterback, being that he got sacked 5 times, and they weren't making a whole lot of holes for this running back to get some yards on. So he was having to really do it mainly himself, you know, by just pushing people over. So that's why I say he showed a lot of aggression, man, and that's, you know, that's what they got to do. But yeah, that pick six, bro. God, that pick six was crazy, man. Like, dude. That ended the game. Like, I was sitting there, and I'm like, okay, this game is way closer than I thought it would be. It's like, what, fourth quarter, early on in the fourth quarter, I'm like, you know, it's kind of looking like West Virginia's going to take this game. And then, boom, out of nowhere, pick six. Like, y'all watch it real quick.
Rice, Ford, Wheaton, what a remarkable game he's had. He's wide open and just can't come up with it.
Run after the catch. Once you catch it, turn into an offensive player and take it to the house, young man.
Y'all see that, man? Like, it can't get no easier than that. Like, he was just standing there like, who, me? Just right to his hands. At that point, man, you got to take that ball back to the house, bro. Got to. Slovis, like I said, he was the better quarterback. He had a lot of pressure, you know, a lot of stuff on his back, being that he's having to come in and take over for Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett had a huge fan base, being that he was there for 4 years. His last year, he went crazy, right? put up so many stats, broke Dan Marino's record. So, you know, he's having to jump behind a quarterback that did a lot for this organization. And, you know, the fans are really looking down. You know, they're breathing down his neck, make sure that he's going to ball out like Kenny Pickett, or at least, you know, catch some dubs for this team, especially against West Virginia. It's been 11 years. The rivalry's still there. Even though it's been 11 years, they hate each other, right? So he really had to step up, and he looked real calm, man. I was surprised. I was really surprised, being that the offensive line wasn't protecting the line. He looked really calm, just real cool in the pocket and making plays, you know, doing what he has to do to get this win. On the other hand, West Virginia, man, like I said, I thought y'all had it, bro. I wouldn't even say it was just the pick six that caused this game for them. There was times where I was just like, what are you doing, West Virginia? What are y'all doing? You know what I mean? Like, the main play that I'm talking about is the 4th and 1 play. It is 4th and 1 and you punt the ball. The reason why I say that is because you have a running back, 2 running backs, not 1, 2 running backs. You got C.J. Donaldson, 7 carries for 125 yards. This dude's 6'2", 240 pounds. This dude's a dog, right? And he's just running all over Pittsburgh, right up the middle every time. Y'all watch this clip.
Let me tell you this, C.J. Donaldson is really a tight end by trade, but look, they alluded to the fact that you're going to see him in the backfield, you're going to see him.
Y'all see this, man? I would have been used this dude on 4th and 1. Like, what are y'all thinking, West Virginia? Not only was C.J. Donaldson running all over Pittsburgh, but they also had Matthews with 16 carries for 71 yards. So as a whole, the run game was being successful, and they didn't use it on one of the biggest plays that might have cost them this game. So that's why I said it wasn't just a pick six. It was several mistakes on their end that really cost them this game. But yeah, moving on. Both secondaries need help, man. Both secondaries really need to work on it. Pittsburgh's defense looked okay at times. They didn't look the best. They were able to get a lot of pressure on JT Daniels. I want to say the stat was 3 sacks, I want to say. But even though they weren't creating a whole lot of sacks, they were able to put a lot of pressure on JT Daniels. And that's what they got to do. And but secondaries, man, both teams, they were leaving wide receivers wide open, you know? You got to fix that. But that's one way to kick off the season, man. That was a good-ass game. But that's all we got for today. Let's go Pittsburgh. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. Make sure you go like and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. This is Ballin' in the Blitz.
We supply who buy. Walk in your drop and take over your drop. Walk in your drop and take over your drop.